Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Sunday gathering. It's December 18th, and I am not a Grinch. Well, I'm Grinch Sandra for a little while. Today, of course, we celebrate life and the afterlife and all good things, but we have a little special thing. We have Christmas movie magic that is infused within. So our chat box is open during our service today. If you want to let us know your favorite Christmas film, feel free to write it in the chat box. Now, wearing Grinch, you think I loved Grinch, but oh no. When I was a little girl, I watched the Grinch movie and I was scarred for life. It wasn't until I was an adult and that Jim Kerry Grinch movie came out that I took my little niece to see the movie. I made her hold my hand because that little inner Sandra thought it was something scary. But no, the Grinch found the magic of Christmas. So we'll bring in back a little more magic. Let me bring myself back in. So this is what I look like when I'm not green. Welcome to our friends, new and old. We have been here doing the Sunday gathering. Oh, I think we're either 143 or 144 weeks. And it's my great delight to have everyone here today. I am joined by my elves. We've got Darren Wynn, Kerry McLeod, and Philip Dykes. And together we do one heck of a spiritual service. Darren will be doing our healing today as well as our opening prayer. We're all going to share in the address today. Kerry will be doing our closing prayer. Phil will be doing our words for the week. And Kerry and Phil together will be doing our medium demonstration. So we want to welcome you. Just sit back, relax. We're grateful you're here. We are 1 week before Christmas, and it can be a very tough time for people, but you know what? We're going to put some magic in, and we will be here on Christmas Day, same time, to be with you. So I'm going to turn it over to Darren for our opening prayer and our healing.
Thank you for that, Sandra, and thank you for that wonderful introduction and welcome. I do love all your outfits, by the way. You can't really see mine because my laptop decided to do stuff at the last minute. I've had to change. I've got a Christmas top on. Maybe you'll see it more later. But excuse the mess behind me. We've just moved house, so it looks a mess behind me, so I'm trying to hide all the boxes and stuff. But a massive welcome to all of you. Who can believe this time next week will be Christmas Day? Wow. And what a perfect theme Sandra's come up with, all about Christmas and Christmas memories. So without further ado, if you'd like to close your eyes and join me for the opening prayer. As we unite together here today as friends, brothers and sisters from across the world, we unite together under that banner of We Don't Die for our Sunday gathering in the time of the Festival of Light. We come together with the same needs and same requirements to join the two worlds together as one. As we unite together from different countries across our globe, we come together speaking different languages, coming together from different backgrounds and different understandings. But today we come together in the name of love, to be of service in whichever way we can. We ask that our friends, family, helpers and loved ones from that world we call unseen, join with us here today once again, as we cast aside our own daily lives and put aside our own needs, our own desires, our own wants, and just enter into this Sunday gathering with nothing but an open heart and an open mind, and allow those from the world to unseen to cascade their thoughts and words through our workers here today. As always, each and every one of us deems it a joy and privilege to walk hand in hand, side by side, with those in the world we call unseen, to be of service in any way we can. And each and every one of us does to the best of our ability and understanding, and we truly hope we can be of service and make you proud here today. As we enter into our Sunday gathering of festive memories, we do so with smiles upon our faces, positivity within our hearts and minds, and abundance of love, so that we may create that perfect meeting ground for the two worlds to come together. And as always, we ask that healing light continues to shine to all four corners of the world, to bring that healing balm to all those hearts and minds that may be in need at this time. So without further ado, my friends, we welcome you here today. Amen. Okay, we're going to start off a little bit different today. We're going to start off with our healing segment. And Sandra's chosen one of my favourite songs at Christmas, I Believe by Josh Groban. And when you look at the words, I believe, do you remember when we was children, what did we believe in? Santa Claus. We used to go to bed on the Christmas Eve and we had this strong belief that Santa would come down the chimney, and lo and behold, you'd wake up the next day and there'd be presents under the tree. So what we believed in at that time came true. And it's very similar to healing. If we have a belief, which we do, in that healing power, all of our minds coming together as one, and sending out those healing thoughts. If we truly believe, then it can come true and it can happen. So as Sandra plays this video, please feel free to listen to the words and send those healing thoughts out here today.
Thank you very much, Sandra. That was a fantastic gathering of films together. And I'm sure everybody's putting in the chat box what their favourite movies are. We're here today to share our favourite memories. But as we do, allow your mind to go through your favourite memories, your favourite movies. As we speak about our favourite times and our moments, allow you to remember your favourite times and moments as well. Christmas comes towards that point of the year where we start to reflect, when we begin to think about the year that's gone and think about the things we have or haven't done yet. But it's also a time we can begin to think about looking forward. And as we look forward, we begin to plan. Anybody else got a New Year's resolution planned? Well, we don't do them, do we? We do affirmations and they're planned well in advance of the end of the year. But as the year goes on, there are memories that we continually go to. I know Sandra showed the clip from the film The Polar Express, the idea of believing in Santa Claus, taking it from more than just a family and Christmas tradition to something larger than that, to something about a crisis in faith. And I know that many of you might have experienced that crisis in faith, but when it gets to Christmas, there's something magical happens. We're reminded about the times where we were with family, either still here in the physical world or now that reside in the spirit world. But Christmas is a time for bringing together. Now, anybody that knows me well might believe that I don't like Christmas. Actually, I do. Yes, you can see, I do like Christmas. I don't like all the commercial and all the fuss. I love family. I love times together. I love the Christmas films. I love the Christmas songs. We all had time together in Florida where we went to the Christmas shop and we had a gift of a Christmas bauble from a certain two gentlemen, and it comes out each year and goes onto the Christmas tree. Christmas is a time for remembering the past with positivity. If we can move from a time of loss to a time of positivity, then we can change everything. I remember each Christmas that I had to search a little bit further back in time for something that was a positive memory for me. And then I realized as I came into young adulthood that I had to make every Christmas count and not compare it against any other. And suddenly something special happened for me. I was able to bring past Christmases into each Christmas I was entering into and appreciate every Christmas I'd ever had, knowing that every single Christmas I was making memories. So everything to do with Christmas that's to do with friends and family, I bring together in this little place in my heart that remembers a special time of the year. Special time of the year for me that is all about family, all about the friends that become our family, and all about the family, regardless of where they are on the globe, that are our chosen family. So my film is The Polar Express because it reminds me to always believe. What's your favourite film? What's your favourite movie and song and memory? Oh, I could go on, but I won't.
Thank you, Kerry.
You do look charming with those
I
on.
forgive
I picked them for him.
You did. Forgive me, ladies. Just got something stuck on the lenses there. So it's absolutely a pleasure to be here once more and to share a Christmas theme and to share about movies as well. Because I'm no doubt there is many people watching this that have all their own favorite movies that they have special memories for and to, and maybe that you've celebrated those movies with people that you love that are now in the spirit world. But it's that reflection that we need to do at this time of the year, not just reflection of our life, but who we are and where we've come from. One of my favorite Christmas movies was White Christmas, and watching it as a child with my parents, my grandparents, and their siblings in the room as well. I come from a huge family. And every year, this time of year, we came together. So it's very special because it holds so many favorite memories of us all getting together and the different senses of humours. And if we're honest, the sense of humour that I have that you've all come to know, actually what Kerry's wearing was mine. So she stole it at the last minute. So you can imagine that the sense of humours that I came from the family members, that we had so much fun, from toilet humour to jokes and that are a little bit rude and blue. But it was the memories, and it's the thoughts of being together, sat on the floor, sat on every arm of a chair, and it just, there's no movement, nowhere to move in a room because we're all sat together, rejoicing about funny stories, rejoicing about memories that we had of our loved ones gone before us. So many generations of family to come together under the banner of Christmas. But actually it's a special joy for myself, and I know for Kerry as well, that every day of the year is Christmas, because we celebrate life, we celebrate where we've come from and where we're progressing to, knowing that we're creating memories all along the way. And there's nothing more special than creating memories, because those memories that you do, it's the feelings that you remember and rejoice in. You can be given things, you can be given tokens and gifts, but it's actually the feeling of receiving, knowing that somebody loves you, knowing that somebody wants to embrace you and share those moments where they think you're special or they've got a fondness for you. That's what Christmas is truly about. Not the gift, but the feeling. Those feelings will always be remembered. I can remember my grandmother coming up to me and give me a huge kiss on that Christmas, because I didn't see her throughout the year. It was at Christmas we all travelled to be together. But I remember those moments. I remember those embraces. I remember those standing round and saying, Philip, can you, I can still hear a voice where she'd say, can you pass these mince pies round? Can you pass these things round? So for me, it's about memories of family, memories of time spent together, but also memories of love, that love that we feel because we're embraced in a unit. But sadly today, those family members are in the spirit world. And the people that you may see on your screen, which is Sandra, Darren and Kerry, and many others that come on, are my family now. That family is spread across the world and brings so much joy to so many people. And I'm very proud to say how much love that I feel from you all at times throughout the year. So for me, that White Christmas, where everyone comes together in those latter scenes, celebrating and singing, is absolutely what Christmas means. Together, in love, celebrating life. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for that. And what else can I say to what already's been said and spoken? How true is that? But when it comes to Christmas or any time of the year, we spoke about it on here before, we're all big kids. I mean, look at me. We all love Disney. We've spoken about the times we spent in Disney. Many of you may have seen this jumper before, but it's got all these flashing lights on it. Oh, it's broken now. But yeah, we're all big Disney fans. You know, why do we love Disney? What is it about Disney we love? It's a special place. You know, when you walk through the doors of Disney, you feel young again. Everything's innocent. Everything's good. Everything's make-believe. You know, nothing's real. It's nice. It's that escapism. And when you look at Christmas is no different. You know, it brings out the big kid in all of us. You know, you can see the way we're all dressed and the way we're all acting and, you know, singing and what have you. but also there's a serious side to it, you know, like Phil and Kerry's already touched upon. And for me, it's spending time with friends and family. You know, we're all spread all over the place. You know, Sandra's in America, I'm in Southern England, Phil and Kerry's in Northern England. We're all spread about, and same as family and friends, we're all spread about. Over the years, we move away from one another for one reason or another. But Christmas is that time you all come together. And I know when I was a youngster, many moons ago, and I very often think back of my Christmases years ago. I mean, I used to live in the north of England back then, and I used to love it. You know, the family that was coming around, you get up Christmas Day, not only would you be excited to open your presents, but you'd have all these family members coming around, your uncle, your aunts, your cousins, your nans, your granddad, you know, everyone would come round. And it's a bit like Phil and Kerry. Now there's more of them on the other side than there is on this side. So it's not quite the same, although it is, because we know they're there Christmas with us, whether in that world or this world. But it's different. But it's, you know, for me it is, and you know, like Phil and Kerry, Christmas is a time for happiness, for sharing that love, and for feeling that love. You know, when you've got all your friends and family around you, or as we are now on Zoom together, you feel that love, you can sense that love, and that's what Christmas is all about. But for me, it's about sharing that love. You know, when I give a gift to somebody, and I drive Scott mad when I go Christmas shopping, because I'm one of them people, I can look at 50 different items for, oh, would they like that? Would they not? And I put so much thought behind it. And I know it's not, it's more the thought that counts. But I want to get something that somebody's going to like or someone's going to enjoy. I'm not one of the people that buy something for the sake of buying it. I'd rather not buy it. But I spend a lot of time and effort. I spend hours and hours shopping, and it drives him mad. But for me, I put a lot of effort in because I want that person on Christmas Day when they open that to truly appreciate that item. You know, I want to show how much I love that person and care for that person. So that item has to be right. But it's not just gifts, it's, you know, it's showing that love. And, you know, and I know this time of year, there's a lot of sadness as well as of happiness. And for me, it's about sharing that happiness with people that may be in need at this time. You know, if you look around your local community, your neighbours, you know, look at these people that are on their own, and may just be in need of that cheer or that, you know, that happiness. You know, it's all well and good us all being happy in that, but we need to share that as well. And I think for me, that's what Christmas is about. It's sharing that happiness with others that may be in need at this time. But when it comes to Christmas movies, boy, oh boy, it's like Disney. I can't decide. I can't pick this. There's too many. And Scott was away the other day, and I sat down. I thought, you know, I'm going to watch a Christmas movie. Because as we've just moved into a new house and we're still in the process of moving, which is a nightmare. And we're only just putting our tree up tonight because we just haven't had time. And he was away, and I thought, I'm going to watch a Christmas movie. I sat down. There's Sky TV, there's Netflix, there's Disney Plus. I thought, oh my God, there's too many to choose from. And it's the same when it tries, you know, coming to pick a favourite. What do you choose from? But I think a couple of mine have got to be Santa Claus, the original, and Home Alone. They just bring that, it's like a box of chocolates. It just brings that comfort and that happiness when you need it. So when you're getting from work and you've had a rough day or a tough day, nothing better than drawing the curtains, turning the heating on, and sitting down to watch a nice Christmas film. How good does it make you feel at the end? Because it will mostly have happy endings. And that's how life should be. I think we need to try and make our lives a bit more like a Christmas film. Make it jolly and happy. And I'll now hand you to Mrs. Jolly herself, Sandra.
You guys are so great. Thank you, Darren. So none of us spoke beforehand that we were going to dress up or be silly. It's just in our nature. It wasn't always in my nature. It was in my nature as a little girl. Oh my gosh, Christmas was magical. And around the age of 14, my parents got divorced and everything changed. Life wouldn't be what it was. And I remember, you know, I wore the Grinch face at the beginning, but I was anti-Christmas. I tell you, it was usually right after Halloween where Christmas things would be on the shelves, and then Christmas music would start to play. And oh boy, I was angry. I was not at all happy about it. I was bah humbug. I wasn't a fan, was not a fan. Christmas was no longer magical. Well, just a few years ago, when I met these guys and Scott as well, and really got a connection with loved ones in the afterlife, not only believing, but seeing the loved ones in action through the mediumship demonstrations and going over to Banyan Retreat in the UK and meeting Kerry and Phil and Darren and Scott. But magic became a real thing for me. When I was little, I wanted to wiggle my nose and have magic happen, like Bewitched, or I Dream of Jeannie. But it wasn't till I was an adult when I realized, who we are as human beings. I mean, we are magical. You hear me say this all the time, but if you put a little camera inside one of our atoms that make us up, we'd be invisible. All we are is invisible vibrating energy down to our core. So we live in this illusion, and it's a pretty grand one. And I believe it's for the development of our soul and learning to love and so many things that we have to live this illusion called life, to really learn and to really experience. When I think of Christmas movies, when I was a little kid, you saw Rudolph there with Clarice, and Rudolph learned to fly because he felt a little love for Clarice, and he took his first few steps and he flew. And that was the start of how Rudolph, led Santa's sleigh. So Rudolph was always a favorite. And then as an adult, my auntie and I would always watch Scrooged with Bill Murray every year, had to watch it. It just was such a great story. And any of those stories that bring about Scrooge, and the new one is Spirited, if any of you have watched that with Will Ferrell, and just a fantastic movie. And when you think about it, we all have our Christmas past, don't we, when we were little kids, and that shaped us to who we are today. And then we've got our present, and then we've got our future. But the beauty is that the future is not yet written. So we can choose it however we wish to be. So I think what I'd like to do is just have us all channel our inner Santa Claus. Now, when we think of Santa, have you ever heard of Santa getting a paycheck? No. How long has he been working? Hundreds, if not thousands of years. He's busy. And what does he do? All year long, he works to create magic for one special night of the year. And I tell you, I know he eats a lot of milk and cookies and whatever else is left for him, sometimes a little something stronger, but it gets him through the night. And does he ask for anything else? No, he doesn't. And is he always jolly? Yes, he is. Is there always a ho, ho, ho? Yes, there is. So Santa gives, and I know Santa receives, because the more he gives, the happier he is, the more he just keeps going. I mean, what could keep a person doing a job for that many years? It's the magic of giving. So for all of us, we all have our past. We all have our memories. We all have people that are living in the spirit world now, and our hearts ache. But we can set a place for them on our Christmas table or any day. They are healthy. They are alive. They are well. You will see them again. Living in a human brain is a tough place to be, because it really wants to stew on what we don't have. But if we can all channel our inner Santa, and that's what I'm asking all of us to do, to bring cheer, to bring generosity, to bring light, to bring love, to bring Christmas movies, to bring enthusiasm, to bring a smile, even if you don't feel like it. The magic happens when you give, because it becomes a reality. You do have a magic wand, my friend. You do. And that is the gift of you being generous, and you can create from nothing. So channel your inner Santa, will you? I think that's all I have to say, except for I'm being pulled to say something about It's a Wonderful Life, because each one of us right now probably has no idea of the difference that we've made in the lives of so many. And if you've listened to any of my podcasts, I have interviewed a ton of people who have had near-death experiences, and they talk about this life review, and it happens in various ways for various people. But I always remember that they say you get to see the ripple effect of the good deeds that you have done. The ripple effect. So one little bit of kindness this Christmas season could lead someone else to do something good, and so on and so forth. You're important, you're wonderful, you are one of a kind, and you are magic. It is a wonderful life, even if your heart is heavy right now. You can channel your inner Santa. And you know, he'd be proud when he gets to see his life, to see all the difference that we all made. I know he'd love it. So thank you for that. With that, we are going to move on to our demonstration of mediumship. And to our friends that are brand new here, this is an opportunity where we get to see our mediums work. We have Kerry and Phil in the house today. And our loved ones are alive and well. They are. They are. And Kerry and Phil are both trained mediums, and they train mediums about how to work with the spirit world. While there may be 4 of us that you can see on screen and a couple of hundred of us that are in our Sunday gathering community, there could be tens of thousands of loved ones that are all here with us as well. And they've planned it from their point of view. They will have a handful of representatives that will step forward on behalf of their world, letting us all know that they are alive and well and that they can witness things happening in our life. Now, certainly when our loved ones migrate to the unseen world, they have jobs to do, they have lives to live, they've got adventures to go on and more soul growth. But see, the thing is, they can multitask. They can be just a breath away from us and pop in, see what we're doing, listen to us. You certainly have your privacy. They were human too, so they know what it's like. But they're with us and they love us, especially when our hearts are heavy. We may not get lights that are flashing on and off, but they may show up in our dreams, or you may smell a cologne, or you might just get that feeling that they're around. They come in through our imagination. So you will see Kerry and Phil give a couple of initial bits of information from the spirit person that has connected with them. Maybe how old, not how old, man or female, male or female, I'll get my words right. Maybe what they did for work, who knows? And we're going to ask you to really listen in, because the spirit world come for people in our online congregation here. They know exactly who's here. So when you hear those first few bits of information, if you can understand 100% of that information as somebody that you know that no longer walks this earth, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, I know we've got a number of new friends with us, and we've got a number of people here that just want to get their fingers active. So if you can go look on your screen, find the raise hand button and push it for me. Can everybody do that? Even if you know how it works, just do it. Just imagine you're putting that pixie dust, that magic, right in there, because we are magical. Okay, everybody's hand up? Almost. We've got a couple of Scrooges who aren't playing along. I see your names. And then it should say lower hand. And if you go ahead and press lower hand now, all hands go down. Oh, very good, you guys. And those of you who are out for a walk or you're multitasking, you might accidentally press your raise hand button. So you just want to make sure you keep your fingers off the device. Oh, everybody's hands went down. Great. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to distinguish who our spirit friend is here for. But if you're the one who works with Kerry or Phil, I am going to press a button on my side that will let you press an unmute button on your side so we can hear your voice. And your job is easy. We're going to let our mediums give us evidence of the loved ones coming forth. All we need you to do is say yes or no to the information that they give you. No simply means a new opportunity. They do their very best to give the information as they receive it, and they're receiving it through their own thoughts and memories and feelings and everything that they have for us today. So just yes or no, or maybe I don't know. I think I've covered everything. If not, we can cover it after our next song is played. So we're going to play a piece of music. It's always just to get us feeling good, thinking about our loved ones who are probably 99.9% sure standing right around you right now. And just have that love in your heart. And this is a song, a Mariah Carey song that was also in the movie Love Actually, which is a really good Christmas movie. I think you'll like it. But that's what this song is for. And then we will be back just after the song. So sit back, relax, sing it if you know it, move around if you want. And here's our song. All I want for Christmas is Kerry and Phil. Oh, hello, Kerry.
Hello, I was shaking my antlers to that song. You've taken your glasses off, Philip.
No, I'm still here. Can you not see me?
You're invisible. What a great selection of songs. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And those that are joining us for the first time, welcome as well. We know that some of you have put in the chat box that you're with us for the first time. Now, we vowed that we would be with you all through the year. And although next week is Christmas and the week after that, New Year's Day, we will be here with you delivering a live Sunday gathering because we know it matters. And this is part of the reason we do it, is because we know that when your loved ones go to the spirit world, it hurts, the same as for Phil and I and Sandra and Darren and Scott and everybody else. That's why it gives us such delight to do what we do. I know we have this on, but we take full pride and have a great sense of comfort from doing what we do. And I know as I begin to work with the spirit world, I do believe that I have a young man in the spirit world. And when I say young man, I actually don't feel he got to full age. I need to say I have a young man who would, I'm not talking a toddler, but I do feel it's son. And I do feel I'm reaching out to mum. And mum would have a bauble that goes on the Christmas tree with son's name and picture on it that was made after he passed the spirit world. I do feel with son that there is an accidental sense with his passing. That makes sense to anybody on our gathering, Sandra?
Thank you very much. All right, friends, if you can understand this information, all the information, go ahead and press your raise hand button, okay? Okay, we have two ladies with their hands. Oh, one lady with their hands raised. All right, we're going back and forth. We've got Colleen and Karen both with their hands raised. Kerry?
Okay, then one of these lovely ladies, one of the moms, would understand that this bauble was made after son transitioned to the spirit world. And it has his name and his picture on it.
All right, we've got Colleen A, Colleen D, and Karen CU, all with your hands raised.
They all understand what I've said. And all of them would understand that son transitioned to the spirit world through accidental circumstances. I don't feel I'm in a car or a road traffic accident, but I do feel it is accidental.
Okay, thank you, Kerry. Ladies, I'm going to lower your hand just in case somebody has their hand up accidentally. And if you can take 100% of that information, go ahead and raise your hand again. Okay, we have Karen and Colleen.
Then also on their Christmas tree, they must have the picture of other members of the family on different baubles. Because I know his son shows me his Christmas bauble. There would be other ones for other family members that are now in the spirit world.
Okay, we have Colleen with her hand still raised. Colleen, could you press your unmute button? Hi, Colleen.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, Colleen. So
Hi.
you understand everything I've said?
Yes.
And you understand this bauble being made after your son's transition?
Yes, it was a gift someone gave me.
Okay. I know that with your son, he has a personality that would melt the heart, but isn't overbearing.
Yes.
Because I know with your son, there's this great sense of not wanting to cause offense. But I do know that sometimes he would have said things that accidentally got him in trouble.
Yes.
I know, Colleen, that your son would have okay. Colleen, you understand another young person in the spirit world, a young girl in the spirit world?
Not a girl, no.
Okay. Then, Colleen, would you understand your mum's in the spirit world?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I got that. Then your mum must have been is such a personality that she could have easily had a joke with the members of the family.
Yes.
Because as she came in there, it was like she was skipping along with your son, like some young person. But with your mum, she had this really protective nature of her, overly protective nature.
Of her family?
Yes.
Yes.
Because as I know your mom and your son come in, your mom is wanting to let you know that that all is well in the spirit world, and she is taking great care of those in the spirit world. I know with your son that when he had Christmases, he would have tried to play, you would remember at Christmas him trying to play cool, like he didn't quite want to be in the celebrations.
Sometimes, yes.
Because I've got this sense of him being really, really excited, but getting to the age where it just wasn't cool to do all the family stuff and play games.
Yes.
I know too with your son, Colleen, that he has an incredible zest for life. And I know, Colleen, after his funeral, you would understand that his friends must have given you memories of him.
Yes. They
And-
wrote out memories and emailed me memories of him. Yes.
Okay, because I know within those memories, you got to see your son in a different light too.
Yes.
I want to say that with your son's passing, every child that goes to the spirit world leaves an incredibly large hole in the family and in each of our hearts. When your
Yes.
son transitioned to the spirit world, he needs to acknowledge the hard work that you have done to move forward.
That's true. It's been hard.
But you have worked incredibly hard to honor his memory and honor his name.
Yes.
I know your son wants to acknowledge the things you have done for him. You must also have a mug with your son's name on.
I don't know with his name. I have one with his picture.
Okay, because I'm just looking, Sandra made us mugs and Phil is there. So I know that there you must have a mug with his name, but you're seeing his face on. But I know too that he must have given you a little gift that said to the best mom or from the best son before he passed.
Yeah, I have a magnet on my refrigerator he gave me. Yes.
And you must, when you look at that, there is such an incredible amount of love flows between you and your son in the spirit world. I know this is his way of acknowledging that. And I know this is his way of saying, I see what you're doing, Mom. I see how hard you're working to move forward. And I love you even more for it.
Oh, I love him too. Thank you.
I know there's an incredible ability within your son to want to share this time with you. Christmas is very special for every single family.
Mm-hmm.
But within your family, I know you from your son, he sees that you make an extra effort to acknowledge him every single Christmas.
This will just be the second one. He died right
Then
before
don't you
Thanksgiving
mean,
last year.
then you must have last Christmas and this Christmas, have last Christmas done and this Christmas planning to do something to acknowledge as if he is still here.
Yes, we do.
Because I know he says, I am, Mum. I am
Yep.
still here. I do see that you lay a cracker and a place out for me, and I am in the room. Last Christmas, the Christmas tree must have fallen over.
I don't think so.
Then would you know where there were baubles fell off the Christmas tree?
They may have. I don't remember.
Then I don't like to predict, and I'm not saying your Christmas tree is going to fall by any means, but I know this is your son's way of saying, when this happens, Mom, you'll know I am close. Not because he has done it, but because he knows it's going to happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Please take the love of your son, Colleen, and know that he is very, very close to you.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Kerry.
Okay. Now, I get a sense I have Father here. And I know as Father moves in, I know there is a sense with him of wanting to acknowledge a whole bunch of stuff to do with Christmas. So somebody here in that audience would remember going out. All I see is this front of Sandra's house, going out and putting up huge amounts of lights around the house. And Dad would have been up on the porch and right round doing lights. And I actually feel there must have been some snowmen or reindeer or things in the front garden as well that would be lit up. And somebody here would have Father in the spirit world that would have done this with you.
Thank you, Kerry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you can understand this Dad with all his Christmas lights and things, go ahead and press your raise hand button. All right, we have Michelle with her hand raised. Michelle, if you can press your unmute button. Hi, Michelle.
Hi there, how are you?
Good, welcome, thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Hi. So you understand everything I've said about Dad?
Yes, I have laryngitis also, so I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Goodness me. So just or if that's easier.
That's fine.
So you would have memories with Dad going out and putting all these lights around the house and the porch, and there being things outside, reindeers and snowmen outside the
Yep.
house.
Yes.
And I feel that regardless of the weather, your dad would have been out doing that.
Yes.
And I want to say that there must have been in your home where your dad lived, Michelle, you would know that there was a basement.
Yes.
And in that basement is where your dad must have taken all the Christmas decorations down and up from.
Yes. And then we also had a garage, so they were always above
Because I
the
feel
rafter.
as if
Yep.
when Christmas comes, there's so much room taken up by
Yep.
all these decorations.
Yes.
I need to say in the house, though, would be your mum's responsibility.
Yes.
But Michelle, your mum is still here.
No, both of them have passed.
Okay, then with your dad, he must have been the one that took you out that went out to buy the Christmas tree.
Yes.
Because I know your mum must have stayed at home getting things prepared.
Yes, until we got the artificial tree up, but that
Yeah.
he had
But
to bring
those
that down
memories,
from the attic.
those
Yep.
just yes or no, Michelle. It
Yes.
helps. It helps you leave knowing. I love to hear about everybody's stories, but I want you to leave knowing that your loved ones are really here. That's okay. Then your dad must have, when you went out, you must have saw that ability within your dad to pick just the right kind of tree.
Yes.
And a lot of time spent on it. With your mum had your mum must have been a little bit of a bossy boots.
Yeah.
Because your dad had no option but to stand to the side as your mum comes in, like, right, I'm here, let's do this.
Yep.
And your mum must have made this Christmas brew, this Christmas drink. We would have had malted, I can't remember the name of it, but a warm wine. But your mum must have had her own type of Christmas drink. Mulled wine.
No, she didn't do that. No, that she didn't do.
Then there must have been a smell that went round the house at Christmas that reminded you of Christmas at home.
Well, it was constant baking and
Okay, because I can smell
cooking.
the Christmas smell. There must be lots of cinnamon in the baking then.
there was always baking, always, and there was a
Because
definite smell to
I've,
the house.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I've got this smell that you still can remember as Christmas.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I know you said that your mum baked, but she must have also been able to do all sorts of garlands and Christmas decorations.
Yeah, we always did things. We made wreaths
Because I
from all
can see
sorts of
this,
things.
yeah, I can see this beautiful wreath there. But I know that this table garland, you and your mum must have gone out and picked the pieces that would go into this.
Not really, but
Then, okay, then if that's not correct, Michelle, you must have recently gone out and picked pieces for your home.
well, it's interesting. I literally just put a wreath on my door and I had to put the pieces back on.
Okay, because I know there's this collecting and putting together and bringing together that your mum wants to acknowledge observing and being there with you. I also need to acknowledge that you have been, I know everybody sings Christmas songs at this time of year, but I know your mum wants to acknowledge that you have been humming and thinking about singing Christmas songs with your family when you were younger.
Oh, I would always sing, yeah. So they always let me sing.
And I know that this is the sense of them bringing this acknowledgement of being with you, Michelle. Your dad is still I know that it would have got to the point where your dad didn't put those Christmas lights out.
No, I took over and my brother took over.
Because I know he took such a great pride in being able to go out and see everything lit up and the effort everybody does. And you, when you put lights up, you must in your mind say that's for you, Dad.
Yes.
He needs to say he sees it, he hears it, he's got his own little voice back in as your mum steps to the side. Know that this is your mum and dad's way of saying Merry Christmas, we're here with you.
Thank
Take
you.
care, love, Michelle. Thank you very much for allowing me to do that for you.
Thank you so much. You be well.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Kerry.
Okay. I believe I have Dad in the spirit world, and I know that who I'm looking for, you would go, and I do believe it might be somewhere warm, because from what I'm seeing, you couldn't do that in the snow. I believe that somebody in our audience would have Dad in the spirit world and would go a car trip every year, but either the roof would be down or there would be hot weather. I do feel that it's somewhere hot, and you would go here on the Christmas vacation. Most of us get snow, but I do feel I'm going to somewhere hot.
Thank you, Kerry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who has that memory with Dad? Somewhere warm at Christmas road trip. Heather has her hand raised. Heather, if you could press your unmute button.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, Heather. You would understand everything I've said.
Yes.
And for me, going in Christmas in the sun is a little bit different because it tends to be very cold, but you would have memories of going somewhere hot on the family holidays.
Right.
And you would remember being in the car with your dad.
Yes.
And I want to say it feels like Christmas. I know it's hot, but it feels like what Dad's showing me, like it would be Christmas. And where you would go would be by a coastline.
Yes.
And you must have been back to this coastline since Dad's passing.
No.
Then you must have very recently been talking about or going down memory lane about how you would go to this coastline each Christmas with your dad.
Last night I was talking about it.
Okay, because I know your dad wants to acknowledge that this has either been revisited in some way. With your dad, there's such a gentle nature with him that he doesn't want to intrude. He was not an overbearing man.
Right.
And I know with your dad that he was so conscious about everybody in the family being happy. And Heather, would you know that with your dad, he had a family of strong women around him?
Yeah. Yes.
Because I know your dad's pacifier, like mediator with these strong women at Christmas time.
Right.
I know with your dad as well, when he was going up towards holiday season, you and him must have had this little ritual just you and he did.
Yes.
And as you did this ritual together, it very rarely changed very much each year, because I know your dad, for as long as he could, would have, okay, I know he would have done that with you for as long as he could. And Heather, you know your dad's memory began to fade towards the end.
Yes.
Because I know as I do this thing every single year, he wants to acknowledge that he recognizes what happened when he no longer remembered to do it. And I know he gives his thanks because you picked up the mantle and did it with him.
That's right.
He wants to acknowledge it mattered. He remembers, it counts still.
Thank you.
There's a sense with your dad that the finest detail is incredibly important. I know his mind was very sharp, and that the small things mattered to your dad. I
Right.
know he would notice things that not everybody else did. And I know that you are very similar to him in that if anybody's feeling left out, your dad would have noticed and gone and done something to make them feel part of the group.
That's right.
And I know that this is dad's way of saying that whatever's with you at the moment, he wants to make you feel back part of the family, because I know there must be something that you're feeling a little bit excluded on.
Right.
This is your dad's way of saying, I see what's going on. I'm bringing you into the fold. He's doing what he can from spirit side to do what he can for that situation. But it's his way of saying he's here for you. He's got you. And he is still remembering to do that special something with you leading up to the holiday season.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kerry.
This is his way of doing it with you. Thank you very much, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Kerry.
I do believe I have mum and aunt and grandmother here. And I know that mum, I know the name Margaret is a family name, but I also know that with mum and aunt, there must have been a friction there between mum and aunt and their mum, their grandmother. And whoever I'm looking for would have memories at Christmas of them all trying to rule the roost. I feel it's a large family gathering, and mum and aunt and grandmother would have all tried to rule the roost. And I know there's a very funny story about the turkey or the Christmas meal.
Thank you, Kerry. Sounds like a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, who can understand this information about your family, these ladies? Claudia has her hand raised. Claudia, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Claudia.
Hey, Sandra, thank you. Thank you so much. My Aunt Margaret, my mom, aunt, and grandma were both all three very in charge people, and you
Okay.
could tell. And
Okay.
also, one year my dog ate that turkey, which was, I thought it was funny.
Oh, thanks, Claudia. So I know, because I know you've got your mom and your aunt and your grandmother coming in, then there is the family. I know Christmas is a big deal for a lot of families, but I know that the family around about Christmas, there must have been a bit of a tug of war as to who was doing what at Christmas.
Yes.
And I know with your mom, I because of the way my mind works when I'm working this way, I didn't hear everything you said, but I know that your mom must have been very, very determined to hold her part of the ritual.
Yes.
And I know with your mom that there is a sense with her that there was no give, none whatsoever.
Yes.
And this is the way it's done, and this is how it should be, and some things should be and some things shouldn't be. Claudia, there must also be a memory of at Christmas an unwelcomed guest coming, and I mean a human being, not an animal. There must have been out of your aunt or your let me work with that. Claudia, would you have a memory of a Christmas where a gentleman in the family turned up worse for wear after having too much alcohol?
Oh, heck yeah.
Because I know your mum would have tutted at this. That sense of turning up for dinner and already having started the celebrations. There was a real etiquette with your mum and a way of doing it and a way of being.
Yes.
And it wasn't to be changed and it wasn't to be altered.
Right.
And with your mum, there would have, I know that you said the dog ate the turkey, but there must have been another year where the turkey didn't go in the oven on time.
I am not
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
I know what your mum's showing me. I'm just trying to figure out what she's meaning by it. Claudia, would you know that you would have sat and watched Friends at Christmas?
Oh, the TV show?
Yes.
I
That'd be a no.
don't recall.
Okay, just trying to figure out what you wouldn't have memories, or would you have memories, Claudia, of somebody doing a funny dance with a turkey?
Oh,
You do?
it's what it
Oh.
sounds, let's say it sounds familiar. Okay.
Okay, because I know your mom's showing me the scene from Friends where she's got the turkey on her head and doing the silly dance. But I know Christmases must have had an incredible coming together, regardless of what had happened through the year. It was important for your mom to have this happen and for it to happen in the way it needed to happen.
Yes.
Regardless of what else took place.
Yes.
And lo and behold, everybody towed the line. But I have to say, Claudia, with your mum, I know that her and your aunt must have spent times that they didn't get on too well.
That's correct.
Because I know your mum is not allowing your aunt to say very much. And I know your aunt would have wanted to respect your mum's way of saying Merry Christmas to you. Because I know, Claudia, your mum, if I said that your mum wishes she had been slightly different with you, you would understand.
Yes, I would.
Because I know with all the joviality, all the tradition, all the strong-mindedness, I know your mum's biggest message is, I'm sorry and I love you.
Thank you, Kerry.
And I know she brings your aunt and your grandmother in as proof of everybody over here is okay. And we're getting on like a house on fire.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Kerry.
Okay. let's just go with it. Okay, it is Christmas all true and well. Okay, so somebody here must have a dog in the spirit world called Spot, and also Dad in the spirit world. And I know that Dad would have had a larger than life sense of humor. I also know that Dad would have passed with a cancerous condition.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Who understands this information? Press your raise hand button, please. No hands up just yet, Kerry.
Then if that's not the case, I know I've got Dad and I know I have the dog. Somebody would understand the nickname of Spot.
Lori has her hand. Oh, Lori, you put your hand down. It was up. Did you understand that information, Lori? If yes, put your hand back up. That could have been an accident.
Then I know I hear Spot, so I know we can work with that. But somebody here must understand Dad in the spirit world, a dog, and it does look like it has a spot on it, a spot of white on its head. And I know that Dad would have passed with a cancerous condition. And I do feel I'm reaching out for daughter.
Thank you, Kerry. Geraldine, you have your hand up. If you could press your unmute button, Geraldine. Hi, Geraldine.
Hello.
Hi, Geraldine. Do you understand the dog called Spot?
No,
No, but you understand Dad and a dog, and the dog had a spot on its face of white.
I know I was very young, but I know the dog was named Blackie. He might have had a spot of white.
Okay, would you understand a nickname of Spot, Geraldine?
Well, our next door neighbor had a dog, and I'm searching my mind. I can't. It started with an S, I know that, but I can't make it come to my mind.
Okay. And your dad would have had this larger than life personality.
Yes.
Because I feel like he's having a laugh at my expense, which is okay. It's Christmas time. But Dad must have, I know that Dad would have had the tradition of the paper hats at Christmas and telling the jokes and having fun at the Christmas table.
Yes, as far as the Christmas table.
Okay, because I know there's the crackers and the Christmas hats going on. And I also get the sense that you would have large family get-togethers at Christmas.
Absolutely.
Because I feel there are, as that Phil spoke earlier on, large family gatherings. I do feel this is here. And with your dad, you understand that he would have passed with this cancer.
Yes.
But I know too that there must have been complications around this.
Yes.
And
yes.
I know with your dad, there is a sense of with him being a little bit confused towards the end about where he was and what he was doing.
Yes.
And I know too that you would have stepped in and supported your dad within the hospital.
Yes.
And I know you would have stood up to the doctors and the nurses.
Yes.
Because I actually feel your dad wanted to make not fun, but light of the situation.
Yes.
And I want to say that there would have been a person. Okay, I know your dad is very cheerful, but I know there is a sense with your dad of wanting to acknowledge how a rift in the family that before he passed still remains there today.
I don't know.
Okay. Then you would know where there was a rift in the family when your dad was still here. I'll take that as a no. Then there's a sense with your dad about there being a slight disagreement about his treatment or what happened around about the time he got ill.
Yes.
Because I know that this disharmony, he wants to acknowledge that you stood up for him and you took the lead for him. I also want to acknowledge, Geraldine, that he wants to do that for you right now, because he sees whatever's happening with you. He sees that you're needing somebody in your corner.
Yes.
And this is him from spirit side of life being in your corner, because this Christmas, I know he gives me the impression that you're going to need an extra ounce of strength.
Yes.
And
yes, I am.
He's very funny because he's just given me an extra zip as well.
Oh, that's very interesting.
So take your dad's sense of humor, his lightheartedness, but also his appreciation of what you did for him and how important this time is for your dad and for you and for everybody else. And I know your dad brought in the dog, but Geraldine, you would have had a dog that was yours in the spirit world too.
Yes.
Because I know your dad wants to acknowledge he has that dog.
Oh, that's the best news. Thank you.
I'm going to leave that with you, Geraldine, and say thank you very much for allowing me to do that for you.
No, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Geraldine. Ladies and gentlemen, it's come to that time of the evening where I'm going to pass back to Sandra.
Oh, thank you so very much, Kerry, for doing our demonstration today. I know we've had some friends joined us a little bit late. The link that you used today can also be used to watch the replay of our Sunday gathering to see what you missed. So our loved ones are around. These nice folks from the spirit world work on behalf of all of us, all of our loved ones. It's not just these people that had their loved ones come through. Our loved ones are so close. You know that our passion, our love, and our life's purpose is to let you know that our loved ones are still around. Kerry and Phil and Scott teach mediumship. Darren and I are here each Sunday. They are alive. They are well. I just recorded, I think, episode 502 of my 2 podcasts. So there's lots of information out about the reality of the afterlife. Our home base is wedon'tdie.com. You can click on the podcast there and listen to a whole bunch of things. You can also go to our Sunday gathering page, register for our Christmas Sunday, or watch one of the ones in the past. We have our at-home courses that were just opened up a couple days ago. If you want to join for a medium class or Trance in the Altered States with Scott and myself, Kerry and Phil have a beautiful course called New Year, a New Start to empower you on your 2023. And they start in January, so you can check that out. Now, today, there's some big things happening. In just over a half hour's time, I am going to be live on a different Zoom link with Sonia Rinaldi. And if you haven't heard of her, she is the researcher in Brazil who we filmed a documentary movie about earlier this year. For over 30 years, she has been capturing voices of loved ones in the afterlife. And as of a few years ago, now she's getting pictures. She has a whole bunch of new, wonderful evidence, new photographs. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. So if you'd like to join us for that, you most certainly can. In just an hour's time, Kerry and Phil are doing what's called Let's Talk Mediumship. It's an opportunity to talk to these great tutors about the whole world of mediumship, get your questions answered, or just sit and listen to a very engaging conversation. The event with Sonia is recorded, so you don't need to be there. I will send you the replay if you want to attend both. Again, you can go to wedon'tdie.com, click on the store page. All of our free events and our donation events and our classes, they're all there. So that's a good home base for you. On the 20th, which is just 2 days from now, our friends Kath and Mitch Shirley are going to be doing a free grief cafe, called a cafe. It's not recorded. It's going to be 90 minutes with our friends. They're mediums, but what they do is they're advanced grief recovery specialists. So there'll be a chat on grief, be an opportunity to share if you'd like to. It'll be very private, will not be recorded. So we all need a little bit of help, I think, with grief in the holidays. So it's a nice thing. And on this coming Friday, Scott Milligan and myself and Nick from Banyan Retreat. We are hosting a fundraiser for the Demelza House Children's Hospice. And it's just a beautiful hospice that takes care of hundreds of families and terminally ill children. And boy, do they need some help. So that is one of our favorite charities. Scott will be doing a 90-minute demonstration of his trance mediumship. It's an opportunity to talk to a friend in the spirit world and ask questions about life and death and the afterlife. And of course, it's got a special holiday theme to it. So as Kerry mentioned, we will be together for Christmas and we will be together for New Year's, and we'll be together in 2023 because we're not going anywhere. We want to give you everything we've got to let you know that your loved ones are still around. They can hear you. They're part of your lives. They're part of your families. We'll know someday just how hard it is when we get over there to let our loved ones know that we're still alive and that we've made it. But they most definitely are. They are. So WeDon'tDie.com again is our home base. And for those of you who donated to our Sunday gathering to make it happen, thank you so very much. If you want to leave us $1 or $2, you can. It's at the Sunday gathering page at WeDon'tDie.com. I think that's it for my mouthful of announcements. But be sure to get right on registering if you want to join for Sonia Rinaldi's event in just over a half hour, or joining Kerry and Phil as well. So Kerry, can I ask you to give us some words for the week and then our closing prayer?
Absolutely. It has been an absolute delight to be here. When we come up to this time of year, there's something magical about it. You heard myself and Phil and Darren and Sandra speak earlier on about what Christmas means to us. We know that 1 week today we'll be finishing our Christmas special Sunday gathering. But in the week before, now till then, there will be ups, there will be downs, there will be lefts and there will be rights. There might be snow, and if you're in a hot place, there might be sun. I'm so jealous. But whatever happens, know that your loved ones are close to you. There's never a time more than what happens in the next 7 days that we need to know our loved ones are there. Everything that we do is about reassuring you that your loved one is close to you, that your family hasn't gone anywhere. I once heard at the start of my journey, way back in the late 1990s, that we are not the spirit world and the physical one. We are actually worlds within worlds. So if you think about this question, are we a world within the spirit world, or is the spirit world in the world that we live in? Regardless of which conclusion you reach, hopefully you can see that the two worlds are closely aligned. The only difference is, as Sandra said earlier on, our world vibrates much slower. So things here seem much more solid. Their world vibrates much more quicker. So their world seems invisible. That's the only difference. So when somebody goes to that invisible world, they're still spiritually, emotionally, and physically present. It's still emotionally, mentally, and spiritually present. Physically, they're not of this world anymore, but they are more alive than perhaps you and I. I know we miss the physical hugs, the times where we can physically hear them, and the times where we can physically see them. But from our world to their world, now is a time where we can start to have conversations that are more soulful, deeper, and spiritual than they ever were at the times where they walked this planet with us. So start your conversation now. Have those conversations. I remember members of the spirit world saying to me, we are kept alive by being spoken about, spoken to, and spoken of. Memories and laughs is what keeps us alive in people's hearts. So whatever you do in the week between now and next Sunday, speak about your loved ones, smile of the stories, share the laughs, and share the love, and share the memories. Let everybody know who your loved ones were, and then they become alive for them as well. Let me close this gathering in prayer. Divine and ever-present creative force of life. That creative force of life that has offered us this opportunity to come together in this place, this sacred space in which we can share memories and love, where we can gain support and knowledge and an understanding that we do not die, that we continue to live in a world unseen. That invisible world allows us the assurance and the knowledge to live our lives as if it were the last, but knowing that we will have much more time. If we live each day as we plan to enjoy, then we live each day for those on the other side of life. We know that moving forward through the rest of this year and the start of next, that we bring with us the love and the memories of those that walk side by side with us from the spirit world. So let us reassure ourselves that that love within, continual and ever present, is never gone. Amen.
Kerry, thank you so very much. And a big shout out to Darren and Phil behind the scenes, and to Kerry, my buddy, and Scott behind the scenes. I'm so grateful to share our virtual stage. And ladies and gentlemen, wherever you joined us from, we are just little sparks of light, big sparks of light all over this globe. We are a very real community, even if we're not sitting in the same room together. You are loved, you are special, you are one of a kind, and we are grateful you're part of our family. And a big thank you to the spirit world also. Well, in our closing video, my friends, it's a sing-along. So join me if you would. I do believe you know the words. And sing if you'd like. So I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Go be Santa. Don't wait for things to happen. Make them happen. You have magic within you. Go share, go create, and go love. Mwah. We love you. We thank you so much for being part of our Sunday gathering. See you soon.